everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney, or current Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it, Legends. Today, I have for you Republic issues 60 to 63, and some other things. These, sorry about that, were all pretty good, so I'm excited to get into them. Starting with issue 60, this basically explains Alpha and Obi-Wan escaping prison, because in the previous story arc, Jabim, they were captured by Ventress. Also in this issue, we get the backstory to Ventress's origins. I have to go on a tangent here. TCW really screwed things up. Now, I think this is reconcilable. The way the comic portrays it, she was born on this planet. She was raised by her parents. Her parents got murdered. There were pirates and stuff, and pirates or civil wars, a combination of the two, going on her planet. She meets a Jedi Master. She trains with the Jedi Master, cares for the Jedi Master. The Jedi Master dies, and she wreaks havoc on the planet for what they did to her master. That's like the general, without getting into specifics. DCW, it's a retcon, not inherently contradiction. She's actually Doth Mary. And at an early age, really all you have to do to reconcile at least that aspect is at an early age, a little baby time. For whatever reason, I'm not a storyteller. I don't have an exact explanation for you, because you might be one of those EU fans who just drops TCW entirely from the Legends canon and says, Disney, you can have it because you think it's too unreconcilable. Now, I grew up with TCW. I like a good portion of it. There's a lot of it I also don't like. Now that I've explored the expanded universe, retroactively, I don't enjoy certain things as much. And there's a lot of contradictions. A good chunk of the contradictions from the EU actually come from Filoni's Clone Wars, because Filoni did not care about the other expanded material. He didn't care about making it fit, about making it be connected. That being said, my fix would be, for whatever reason, the Doth Miri give these people, the parents, Ventress at an early age to them. I mean, think like how Sidious took Darth Maul at a young age. Like, that's all Darth Maul really ever knew, was Sidious. So in the same sense, for whatever reason, I don't have a clear explanation, they give, as a baby, Ventress to these parents, right? So that's all she's ever known. So when they die, of course it's going to affect her. I purposely went back and watched the flashback from the episode in the Clone Wars to see, like, the contradiction. When she's a little baby girl, or like a little toddler, there's this weird alien dude, and she's like, no, you're dead. I don't know if that was who was taking care of her, or if that was supposed to be who was taking care of her in the TCW show. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to mean, but I'm just going to blatantly ignore that. Usually I don't like doing that. Usually, like, with the EU canon, right? I take the good, I take the bad, I take the ugly. I don't exclude anything just because it's good or not. Like, if it's bad, I don't headcanon it. I know some people like to do that. That's fine. That's not me. If the universe says it's canon regardless of what I say. So the Legends universe, I can't, like, just throw out TCW, but at the same time, TCW doesn't care about the rest of continuity, so I'll treat it in the same way that it treats, because, like, I will treat the continuity with respect so long as the co-creators respect each other and respect my time. Filoni didn't care about respecting anyone's time or caring about their investment into the expanding universe, which was canon back when he was making a show. So in the same sense, I'm just going to ignore a little fact from the flashback on the show. No, she had two parents, and the parents died. She then later on meets her master. The master seemingly looks the same in the TCW show as he does in the comics. So all that fleshes out pretty well. And I think that can relatively reconcile the issue, but it is an issue that I wanted to address because TCW does also portray the same thing. Also, I could be nitpicky and say that she has hair in the TCW show when she's training with her master, but does that like really matter? I mean, I kind of personally like that she would have hair and then lose it due to, turning to the dark side or whatever, or, instead of her just like being a bald race. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but take it or leave it. That's, I guess that's a contradiction, but I don't care whether or not she had hair or not back then. It doesn't change anything for me. Um, but yeah, so that's a huge thing. But if you're a huge EU purist completely and utterly, and you despise TCW, then you can just eject TCW from canon. I can't do that. My mind would implode. So instead, I have to explode my mind by trying to make it fit, even though it's very difficult to do. But that's that. That's basically all that happens in that issue. Issue 61 is actually probably one of my favorite issues of this whole series. Now, this is interesting because I don't really care for the art in this one, like, at all. I think it's kind of garbage. However, there's no action in this book, not really, just a little bit. This is mostly political and intrigue. This book, this issue focuses primarily on Bail Organa, which I love because you don't get like anything from him in the movies except for at the end of the third movie. He shows up a little bit in the TCW 2008 show. There's a little bit more of him if you watch the episode 3 novelization, or if you read the episode 3 novelization. But we don't get much of Bail Organa, the father who raised Leia Organa Solo. And we get a bit more of him here. And everything they're talking about here, referencing Jabim and everything, such good stuff. And then should I tell you that? Whatever, it's fine. They bring back Finis Valorum. Finis Valorum being the previous Supreme Chancellor. All this excellent stuff. They have Mon Mothma here, which I know is hard to think about because you think Mon Mothma, you think the original trilogy. But Mon Mothma was around during the times of the Old Republic. She's not super old. She was around during the time of the Old Republic. She was in the Senate. She was one of the politicians who went to go join the rebel cause. Right? Now, even still in the movies, Mon Mothma isn't a big character in the movies. Like, she shows up and she's there and stuff, but she's a big character relatively in the EU, outside of the movies, focusing around all those characters though. So it's very cool that we get to see her here this early. I just thought that's really neat. So overall though, without getting into spoilers, I absolutely loved this issue. Issue 61 is awesome. We get to issue 62. This issue is basically just about Anakin finally being reunited with Obi-Wan. Without getting any spoilers, that's what happens in this issue. We also have a short story from Star Wars Tales number 19, Rather Darkness Visible. This one's pretty okay. The art was decent, and the story was decent. There's this Master and Padawan. They haven't been very close lately because of the war and everything. The Padawan isn't even sure she wants to be a Jedi even more. And there's stuff going on the planet. And it all culminates in not a happy outcome, I'll say. And overall, it was just a pretty good Star Wars tales, I'd say. I think it was actually pretty decent. Moving on. Star Wars Visions. The Artist of Naboo. Now, of course, you can buy Star Wars Visionaries, but also, if you have the Epic Collection of the Star Wars Republic comics, this is included in there, so you don't have to like go elsewhere to find it. It's got very nice art, I'll say. Focusing on an artist, I mean, every panel looks like a painting. It's gorgeous, I think. However, the story itself is really freaking weird. So I guess during times of turmoil, Padme went back to Naboo for maybe a weekend. I don't know. She's just there chilling, probably going to see her family because she has one. Um, and this artist, he loves to paint things, and he has a chance encounter with Padme in the marketplace and has a vision of her with twins because I guess he's force sensitive. And it's very vague, but she's about to be attacked or something, and he jumps in the way or something. It's really weird. Like, the story's bizarre. The art is nice. The story, I don't know. It's there if you want it, but it's weird. Moving on to the next one, though. Star Wars Yoda one-shot. This is also included in the Epic Collection. So, the thing about Yoda is, this is like George Lucas's thing. You're not allowed to go into Yoda's past. You're not allowed to know anything about Yoda. This is my thing. I might do something with it one day, but otherwise you're not allowed to. So having stories centered around Yoda were not common. We have, I mean, you can have short stories where it's like doing stuff, but you can't like dive into his character too much. And we have two exceptions to that. I put up three. Two. This comic and a future novel we'll get to called Yoda Dark Rendezvous. That's like it. We'll have certain stories where he kind of like is the lead, but we don't get an insight into his mind or his character. It's just like he does something cool. The art style in this is really interesting. I tried looking up who the artist was. Maybe I'm retarded, or I'm sorry, that's an insensitive word. Maybe I'm stupid. I couldn't find anything on him. I don't know if I'm just not because I typed in his name, and I couldn't find like any social media stuff or anything. Because I have picked up random comic books throughout my life, and it looks similar to some stuff that I've read. So I want to know if it's the same guy. I don't know. It's a very interesting art style. I don't know if I like it or not. I can't say I hate it. I don't know if I love it. It's just an interesting art style that was used. I mean it doesn't look weird or anything. It's just it looks, I don't know how to describe how it looks. It looks like really, because like Jandra Riesma's art is like detailed, but you can tell it's drawing. This like looks like as if it was like done on a computer or something. I don't know. How it's weird. But overall, the one shot was really good. The deepest insight we get into Yoda, I mean, he just has this friend. We don't know how long he's known this friend, or whatever. He's good friends with this leader on this planet. And it seems like they're going to succeed from the Republic. And Yoda's trying to convince him not to. And things escalate, and it was actually a pretty decent story. I mean, Yoda has his friend, you know, they have a couple conversations. It's really interesting. But things just keep getting worse and worse, and things just don't end well for Yoda. So, it's a very enjoyable one shot, I have to say. Moving on, we have Republic issue 63. We're back to Quinlan Voss. This did something better than I even thought, or just went beyond what I thought, where I thought the story was going. So what did we have happen in Count Dooku, the one-shot comic? Quinlan Voss seemingly joined the dark side because he killed his aunt or whatever in anger. Cut to this comic. He did do that. He doesn't consider himself to be dark side. He's still trying to fool Count Dooku. He knows what he did is wrong, but he thinks, I'm not dark side, I'm only in the shadows. I'm further in the darkness, but I have not succumbed to the darkness. I'm still a triple agent. I'm still working for the Republic. I'm still working against Dooku. This has not changed me. But clearly it has to an extent. And where the story will go from here, I don't know. But I absolutely love it. Not to mention, Krook makes an appearance, and Krook is quickly becoming one of my favorite Jedi just from the EU. And Krook does some stuff. It's fun. It's cool. And I just love this issue. Quillen Voss is such a fun character. I love it. It seems like the past couple issues have been kind of because we had like kind of like storyline, following. It seems now we're getting a lot of like jumping around places, kind of like what as Matt Wilkins has said in his video, what the '03 Clone Wars TV show did, where you're kind of jumping around different points during the war. And I like that. I like that we had the action ones. I like that we had the Quillen Voss ones. I like that we had one centered around the politics around the Senate with Bail Organa, because that was all really cool. And I love that we got all of that. And so overall, like I said before, ever since we got like the Count Dooku one shot, it's been nothing but banger after banger after banger after banger, nothing but net. Such good storytelling, such good stuff. So absolutely think it's worth your time. I only have two more things for you today, which is the Clone Wars Adventures, the '03 looking ones, comics, from the volume 7. Impregnable. I don't even remember this Jedi's name. She was in one of the earlier Republic issues. She was also in the background in episode 2. Again, this issue says it's 6 months after Geonosis. I'm following a couple timelines. They put it here. You could put it earlier if you wanted to, due to it being said to be 6 months after the fact. I'm placing it here just because where they put it, and I don't want to go back and place it somewhere else. So this is where I'm placing it in my personal timeline. Not that the little timestamp they put on it really matters, because you could put it literally anywhere. If you just erase that from there, it means nothing. It doesn't reference anything else. So she just goes into this impregnable fortress. Impregnable doesn't mean pregnant, by the way. It means that you can't enter it. She does enter it. She escapes, but she doesn't get the guy she's trying to capture. Instead, she just makes the life support systems fail, and then he cries. That's the story. It's okay. But again, the Clone Wars show was never meant to be like this huge storytelling thing. It was a lot of like action pieces, little shorts. And then Clone Wars '03, Volume 9. Clone Wars Adventures, Volume 9. Appetites for Adventure. So Dex, from Episode 2, who's friends with Obi-Wan, goes to this planet, talks to natives. There's like no dialogue in this till like the very end. But he's talking to natives. He's going to the depths of the jungle. He's going to get these, like, I don't know what they're called, like leeches looking things. He brings them back to his diner, chops them up, and gives them to Obi-Wan as a gift. I'll let you read the end to see what Obi-Wan says to this, because I thought it was actually pretty funny. Again, it was another okay little thing that you would read here, because why not? Dex is living the good life while everyone else is suffering and in depression during the Clone Wars. So that's funny. But that's pretty much it, guys. Up next, I have a short story called The Hive and Cestus Deception, the next novel that we'll be getting to. So I hope you all join me for that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to get into spoilers. I don't have much, just a couple things to mention from a couple of the issues that I thought were very cool or interesting. So if you don't want spoilers, now's the time to skedaddle. But if you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up. Sharing helps out a ton. Subscribing would be nice too. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. If you don't want spoilers, now's the time to go. I give you a warning. I'm going to get into it. You better be gone. If you don't care about spoilers or you're a veteran, stick around. So I have to go back because all my spoilers are on this page. I only have 2. I mean, it might be said in other material. It talks about how Bail Organa is very depressed, or not depressed is the right word, but he's sad, along with his wife, because they've been trying to have kids for a long time, but his wife keeps having miscarriages. I just thought that was a very sad thing, but I thought it was nice to mention because I think it adds to when Obi-Wan gives Leia to them, how much they really do love and cherish her. While it may not be their blood, per se, they raise her and love her with care, which only adds to the effect that she'd feel when Alderaan blows up in Episode 4. Because, Mon Mothma talks about how Bail has wanted a child for so long, along with his wife, and they just can't do it. And then they get that opportunity, and they raise her good for as long as they can until the events of Episode 4. And I just think that's really sweet. And just really meaningful for them that they got to fulfill that wish of theirs in some way. Even amidst all the darkness, they could have light with their daughter. And as I said before, Valorum shows up. Valorum tries to warn Bail because Bail stands for everything that the Republic should be. And of course, Valorum doesn't trust Palpatine. He knows that Palpatine's up to no good. He doesn't know that he's a Sith, but he knows that he's up to no good. He knows that he's not going to release these emergency powers once the crisis is averted. He knows that won't happen. And all the conversations he has with Bail and everything are interesting. All the Senate scenes are really interesting. Love it all. However, Valorum is trying to get away. And as he's up in the atmosphere, his ship blows up. Chancellor Valorum is now dead. That's another thing. I'm going to have to completely ignore this episode in the future of the Clone Wars 2008 because Filoni didn't care. Yoda goes to talk to Finis Valorum late into the war, even though in the comics he was assassinated, which was very cool and very fitting. It makes sense that he would eventually have to be taken out, which they did. But you have to ignore TCW if you're going to enjoy that particular comic with that portion. At least that portion of TCW, that particular episode where Finis Valorum shows up. I mean, you can try to fit it earlier, but I don't like doing that because I'm pretty sure Anakin and stuff make an appearance at some point, and he has the long hair, which he doesn't now, which really bothers me. So theoretically, you could try to place it earlier. I don't know how well that would work, but he seems like he still has Senate guards and stuff, and it's clear from, like, this comic that he's, like, kind of, like, hiding in the shadows and stuff, not really getting out there that much. So, I don't know. I'm just going to ignore that TCW episode. Again, I don't like to ignore things. I don't headcanon. I don't do that. TCW is literally forcing me to, because otherwise this universe cannot make sense. It is primarily Filoni's fault that we have any contradictions at all. Some of them can be blamed blatantly just on the EU, but a good portion of complaints all come from the 2008 show, because Filoni couldn't be bothered to try to fit it with everything. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up. Show episode at a time. Don't forget to subscribe. And may the Force be with you. Until next time.